Hi guys, welcome to the Classicals YouTube channel, and today we have yet another really exciting creative project to show you. It's going to be very focused on personalization, and today I'm going to show you how to personalize a nice, soft, snuggly baby blanket. Many times in our business we get to do this, and we sell it to people, we sell it to businesses. So if you've got an embroidery machine at home and you're looking for tips and tricks on how to easily personalize things to make great gifts, so even to sell it as a small business, then I hope this video would have a lot to show you that you would find very, very useful. So let's get started. So right now I have with me an already stitched 30 by 40 Minky blanket, and Minky as a fabric, it's very, very plush. It's got a bit of a stretch factor to it, so every time I embroider something like this, I have to make sure that I account for the kind of material that it is, so that I'm able to correctly stabilize it so I get the best sewing result. So I've already fixed my design and I've kept it already in my USB. So this I will show it to you in the other half of the demonstration. What I'm going to start off with is I'm just going to show you how I actually hoop a blanket of this sort. So usually I personalize it in one corner. So I'm going to keep that corner facing to me in such a way, and it's going to be, the embroidery is going to be in a slant. So of course this is the straight orientation, so I'm going to turn it till I'm able to see that orientation facing me, and I consider this to be like a straight line. Alright, now once I have that ready, it's time for me to actually start marking on this blanket. Of course not in a permanent way, so that I'm making sure that when I put it on the machine that it fits correctly. And now, because I want to put it in the corner, I'm going to just basically find the smallest distance where I'm able to get about 7, so this is 8 inches. Smallest distance from the corner to there, because I don't want the embroidery to be floating around anywhere else. So this is going to be my base line. Alright, so what I usually do in such cases is I actually take a little bit of cellophane tape, something that doesn't stick too much on this fabric, because if you use a white masking tape, I think that sticks too much. And I just sort of place it there so that I get an orientation to know whether my hooping is straight or crooked. Alright, so once I've gotten that sorted and I know that this is my baseline, it's very safe for me to now mark a middle point for my embroidery. So once again, I use a lot of these tools here so that when I'm actually executing the embroidery, it's a lot easier. So this tiny little white sticker, sort of place it right there, and I can see that from one end of the stitch to the other it's around 8 inches. So 4 would be an approximate center. I'll just get a pen. Doesn't matter if it's a pen, because I'm going to mark straight on the paper. So I go down to number 4. So I've just basically marked the middle point, and I know that for my design this is going to be the middle, but it's going to be the bottom of my design. Alright, so when I get to the embroidery machine, I will show you how I place this to match the center of the design that's on the machine as well. Alright, now that I've marked it, it's time for me to now actually hoop and stabilize it. So before I get into the act, I want to show you the products that we use. So Sulky has a Tear Easy stabilizer, and I use this for almost every embroidery, such as this one, where I want to actually clear off all the embroidery on the wrong side of the embroidery. So if I was doing, say, a polo t-shirt, no one's gonna ever really see the back of it because you'd be wearing it. But a blanket, it's very possible. A shawl, it's very possible. So in such cases, I use Tear Easy so that after I finish doing the embroidery, I can just take off the stabilizer without really having to pull or push anything, and it just comes off really nicely. And it's such a quality stabilizer. And on the top of this, now because this is a plush product and I don't want the plushness to stick through the threads of the embroidery, we use the Superior Dissolve stabilizer. Sulky also has a wash away stabilizer, but we get this in plenty stock, and I've cut a piece of it and I've kept over here. It's just basically a lightweight water soluble stabilizer. So we'll try to remove as much of this as we can from the top after we finish the embroidery, and whatever little bits we can't remove, you can just spray some water, or you can give it to your friend and tell your friend that after the first wash it's going to be like an even better embroidery. This is a personal choice, depending on how you want to do it. So So let's get to the hooping. So the Tear Easy, I keep 2 because it's very lightweight and I want to make sure that the hooping is tight. I like to give 2 layers of this, all right? So I've already sized it. You always have to make sure that it is bigger than your hoop because you do not want to work with bits and pieces of embroidery, all right? So for my machine, I know that I want the bulk of all the material to be on the same side as where this clips on. So I'm gonna slide it like this. So I first have the layer of stabilizer here. I put the second one on top. It's not as big as the first one, but that's fine. And then I bring in the embroidery. Now remember, this is the base, so I need to make sure the maximum hooping space is available in this. So if I actually hoop it where it's like this, there's a very big chance that my embroidery is not going to fit inside the hoop. So you got to be conscious about these little things so that you only have to hoop once. Otherwise what might happen is you might go and hoop it and then afterwards you might realize that you will have to come back and unhoop it. That's when embroidery gets kind of irritating. Otherwise it's a lot of fun. All right, so now that I've got it down here, since I've put that cellophane tape, it is so easy for me to actually see whether my design is really straight or not. You can always use an inch tape to just sort of, every hoop has these gradations for you to really see, you know, start to finish. And I just sort of make sure that it's kind of like approximately parallel. And then you just have to press it in. Ah, I've forgotten something. So important. Let me put that in. Okay. Now the reason why I actually, I've tried so many different ways because now that there's a paper inside there and I don't want my needle to embroider on top of it, the best fail-safe method of me doing this is when I actually finally find that placement, I just sort of like, this is just a temporary sort of hold down for the stabilizer. And now that I've got that there, I'm going to use my pen. I'm going to mark the same thing on the stabilizer. So I have the dot there. Then it's very easy and confident for me to remove it so I don't lose my marker. Alright, and if I fail on this and this moves, then I'll have to just do it again, right? As long as we know the procedure. So as we hold it down, just try to press it through. A lot of grit and force. I think I need to loosen the hoop a little bit, right? So that's why it really pays to like keep that there. Hold on. The old school BERNINA hoops have this screwy way of like, you know, you trying to like make it tight or loose. The newer ones is something called the midi hoop where you don't have this problem at all. Should have used that one for this demo, thinking about it actually. Anyways, here for the next one, right? So once again, just making sure that it's approximately parallel. This should fit now, made it a bit looser. It's always good for it to be like snug so that I look so weak right now. So I think I've made it tighter. Let me just give it a check. Hold on, yeah? Lots of space. I like to do my projects and I like to hoop it in such a way that I only have to do it just one time. I don't have the patience to do things more than once. So if you're a lot like me, then these little tapey devices and everything, you see my center is still exactly where it's supposed to be. It just sort of really, really works. Okay then, so I put this in here. All right, I got it in. So now, this is a very ideal result for me, guys. Yeah, where it's quite tight when I actually like place it here. It feels like an elastic over a drum. It's that tight here. All right, I can see my center. It's still where it's supposed to be. And I've actually managed to hoop the water-soluble stabilizer perfectly on it. Now I can actually take this off. I don't need the temporary tape to fasten it anymore. All right, and at the same time you will see this as I put this on the machine, the bulk of the blanket is on the outside of the machine and it's approximately as straight as it can be with respect to the angle in which I want to put the name in. So now that I've gotten all these things checked out, I'm so confident that my embroidery is going to come out really well. So let's go to the machine and let me show you how I position this design on the blanket, and then we can see the real fun part, that is when I shut up and the embroidery happens on the machine. Let's go. Alright, hi guys, so now I'm at the sewing machine. Actually, this is just an embroidery machine, and I'm going to be embroidering out on the blanket that I just hooped. So this is a rule of thumb that I've come to sort of understand, and I find it very useful, is before I start any project, I always check that my bobbin thread is at least 3/4 full, so that I don't have the annoyance of having to like fill that bobbin out midway embroidery. So I'm just going to insert this bobbin in, and now I will come on to the other side and I will show you the view of how I load the design on. So my design's in my USB, so I'm going to first plug it into the machine. And once it's in, so on the BERNINA, this is pretty much the interface. So you can go into the USB folder and then you just have to scroll till you find it. I already see my design there. And I've already sized it to the size that I want it to be, so I don't really have to change it. If you haven't sized it, of course, there's lots that you can do on the information to work that around. So right now, I know that when I am going to hoop my project and it's going to go in the machine this way, that I want my name to sort of embroider out this way. So H-O-L-L-Y, right? So that means that I have to turn the design on the machine by about 90 degrees. Okay, maybe 270. Alright, so that's the correct orientation of my design. Once I fix this, the next thing I want to do is I want to just make sure that I have programmed my machine to match all embroidery settings. So for embroidery, I need to make sure it's foot number 26. And once that is sorted, I am going to convert this hoop into a large oval hoop. Now you can see that this is exactly how big my design is going to look with respect to my hoop. And finally, I don't know if you guys remember, I said that I'm going to be marking this design with respect to the bottom middle of the design. So approximately the bottom middle for this design is somewhere around over here. Alright, so I'm going to show you a interesting, nice placement aspect on the new BERNINAs that are out there. So if you have the 2018 version of the BERNINA 790 plus, or you have the 880 plus, or you have a 590 plus, or you have a 700 or a 500. I just listed a bunch of models. This is your pinpoint placement tool, which is really, really useful for you to correctly place your designs in your marked position without any hassle whatsoever. And I really love this entire aspect. So have a look at this, right? So I'm going to now come to the placement tool. Now if you look over here, that little marker over there, according to my machine, that is the placement of this design. That's the placement of where the design starts. Now I don't know if that is in line with this entire project that I've hooped over here, whether it's going to go beyond this clear tape or within this or not. So I want to confirm that the position is absolutely correct and as accurate as can be. So I come and I click this button here, and this is the pinpoint placement. Now typically a pinpoint placement, one second, I'm just going to do what the machine says. This is just my machine sort of like, you know, waking up and orienting itself. Let's just put the hoop back in. If you notice, this is why I've hooped the project like this, so that the bulk falls on the outside, yeah? Alright, so now you can see that the marker has moved over here. Approximately the middle bottom, but let's try to like fix that correctly, right? So I come over here, and you can see that it has now given me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 9 registration points. All right, now because I'm quite confident by the way I've hooped this project, I'm not going to use 2 reference points. I'm just going to use 1 reference point. And that's going to be the bottom middle, and that's right there. Now, as long as this coincides with that point over here, I'm good to go. So let us move the machine till it sort of reaches that point. And hopefully my design should fit inside as well, yeah? Okay, and I'm going to use the hand wheel, and I'm just going to make sure It's quite approximate. Just bring it a little bit this way. There we go. So that's exactly where I want it to be. So that I'm very sure about it. I'm just going to click set so that it sticks there. Then I'm going to click X and I'm going to get out of it. And that's pretty much me designing the position for my design. So everything is set. I only just have to thread the machine. So I've picked a really nice light peachish pink. Alright, so I'm going to just quickly go over this. If you do not know how to thread a machine using a semi-automatic needle threader, we have another video in our YouTube channel that shows you how to do so. It's pretty much the same on all Berninas and Burnettes. Excess thread, you can cut it using the thread cutter. I have a fully wound bobbin, I've got a threaded needle, I have positioned my design, I have sized it, I'm good to go. So we just go here. And the machine is ready to start. Now whenever I start, I do not like to go too fast. So I just want to go slow just to make sure that everything is okay in terms of threading. Threading is a very common mistake that leads to like immediate bunching of threads. So I just want to know how it goes. I'm just going to start slow. And I'm going to just hear the sound of the machine, yeah? It sounds okay. It stops so I can cut this top thread. Alright, essentially use a pair of scissors for that. I left it on the other table. And now that it's good, I'm just going to let it go. Now that I'm confident with the stitch quality, right, I'm just going to speed it up now. I can see exactly how many minutes are left on my embroidery, and the second bar on the bottom tells me how long the total embroidery is going to take. And you can exactly see at which point like the needle is at right now, you know. And these are pretty cool functions to have. And now you can see I've activated the bunny rabbit because I was so confident by the way the embroidery was coming out that I thought, hey, why not go a bit faster? Alright guys, so as you can see, I just have to spend some time cutting the threads in between. This embroidery has actually come out pretty well. So I'm going to just unhook it right now. And I'm just going to literally peel off, and all the spaces in between we're just going to like literally use our fingers, and it just comes out so easily. And that's the beauty of a lightweight interfacing. Again, if you use a cellophane tape, this comes out easy. If you use a higher grade sticky tape like a masking tape, I think you'll probably pull out some of the fluff, so we do not want that. Alright, so there we go. Thank you so much for watching this video today. And if you'd like content like this regularly delivered to your mailbox, all you have to do is subscribe to the Classic Pose YouTube channel and leave a thumbs up to this video and leave a comment for things that you would like to see up ahead. So then, happy sewing, and I hope you use your embroidery machines to do some great stuff out there.